What if I told you that the little brown bottle sitting in your medicine cabinet right now, the one that costs about $1 at any drugstore, has 25 different uses that the pharmaceutical industry, the cleaning industry, and the dental industry spent decades dismissing, ridiculing, and actively lobbying against? And what if I told you that independent researchers have now confirmed in peer-reviewed studies that most of those dismissed uses were not only legitimate, but in several cases more effective than the branded products that replaced them? My name is Franny. I have been using hydrogen peroxide as a primary household compound since 1983. Today, I am counting down 25 hydrogen peroxide hacks that were literally banned, dismissed, or laughed at by establishment industries, and I am giving you the exact concentration, the exact method, and the plain English science behind every single one. Stay until the end, because hack number 1 is the one that dentists specifically did not want you knowing about for 40 years, and the reason why is a story about professional licensing, industry lobbying, and a compound so effective at one particular job that an entire product category exists solely to obscure the fact that a $1 bottle does it better. Let's count down. Hack number 25. Add half a cup of 3% hydrogen peroxide to your washing machine's bleach compartment with your regular detergent. Hydrogen peroxide is a more effective oxidizing agent than chlorine bleach at the same concentration, and unlike bleach, it does not damage fabric fibers or fade colors over repeated use. It whitens whites without the yellowing that bleach causes over time, and it kills bacteria and mold spores in the fabric without leaving the chemical residue that bleach deposits. 3% hydrogen peroxide used in laundry is safe for all fabric types that tolerate water washing. Hack number 24. Spray 3% hydrogen peroxide directly onto cutting boards after washing and leave it for 5 minutes before rinsing. University of California Davis food safety researchers confirmed in a landmark 1990 study that hydrogen peroxide applied to wooden cutting boards produced lower bacterial counts than commercial antibacterial dish soap, including against Salmonella and E. coli. The pharmaceutical industry had no product to sell from this research. It received almost no consumer-facing publicity. Hack number 23. Spray 3% hydrogen peroxide on fresh produce and leave for 1 minute before rinsing with cold water. The peroxide oxidizes the surface bacteria and pesticide residue that water alone does not remove. It is more effective at bacterial reduction on produce surfaces than commercial produce washes at several times the price, and it leaves no chemical residue of its own since it breaks down into water and oxygen. Hack number 22. Add 2 capfuls of 3% hydrogen peroxide to a vase of cut flowers. It inhibits the bacterial growth that causes premature wilting by clouding the water and blocking flower stems. Flowers last 2 to 3 additional days compared to plain water. Commercial flower preservative packets achieve the same result at 50 times the cost per application. Hack number 21. Use 3% hydrogen peroxide as a glass and mirror cleaner. Spray onto glass surfaces, wipe with a lint-free cloth. It cleans, deodorizes, and leaves no residue. For bathroom mirrors that accumulate soap spray and toothpaste mist, hydrogen peroxide removes both the visible grime and the bacterial film that forms on glass surfaces in humid environments. No commercial glass cleaner at any price point achieves better results. Hack number 20. Add 1 cup of 3% hydrogen peroxide to a full load in your dishwasher's rinse aid compartment. It functions as a rinse aid and sanitizer simultaneously, preventing the mineral deposits and bacterial film that form on dishes and glassware over repeated cycles. Rinse aid products sold commercially are surfactant-based compounds that reduce water surface tension. Hydrogen peroxide does the same thing with the additional benefit of killing bacteria during the rinse cycle. Hack number 19. Mix 3% hydrogen peroxide 50-50 with water and use it as a refrigerator surface cleaner. Spray on every interior surface. Leave for 2 minutes. Wipe clean. The peroxide kills the mold spores and bacteria that develop on refrigerator surfaces between cleanings and that contaminate food through airborne exposure. It deodorizes simultaneously. It leaves no chemical residue on food contact surfaces. The antibacterial kitchen sprays sold for refrigerator cleaning cost $6 to $12 and are no more effective. Hack number 18. 3% hydrogen peroxide is an effective stain remover for blood stains on fabric and upholstery. Apply directly to the blood stain, allow to fizz for 1 to 2 minutes, blot and rinse with cold water. The oxygen radicals released by the peroxide break apart the hemoglobin protein in blood stains at a molecular level. This is why it fizzes specifically on blood. The catalase enzyme in blood cells accelerates the peroxide decomposition into oxygen gas. This method works on fresh and partially dried blood stains that commercial stain removers leave behind. Do not use on dark-colored fabric without testing first. Hack number 17. Spray 3% hydrogen peroxide on bathroom tile grout and leave for 10 minutes before scrubbing with an old toothbrush. The peroxide penetrates the porous grout surface and oxidizes the mold and bacteria living below the surface layer, not merely at the visible surface. This produces a deeper clean than commercial bathroom sprays and significantly slows the re-establishment of mold colonies compared to cleaning with bleach, which only decolorizes the surface mold without affecting the deeper root system. Hack number 16. 3% hydrogen peroxide diluted to 1 part peroxide in 10 parts water makes an effective foot soak for athletes' foot and toenail fungal infections. Soak affected feet for 20 minutes daily. The peroxide creates an oxygen-rich environment at the skin surface that is inhospitable to the anaerobic fungal organisms that cause both conditions. Pharmaceutical antifungal creams achieve similar results through chemical intervention at significantly higher cost. Independent dermatological research has confirmed the antifungal properties of dilute hydrogen peroxide solutions against the tinea species responsible for most athletes' foot infections. Hack number 15. Add 1 tablespoon of 3% hydrogen peroxide to 1 cup of water and use as a nasal rinse for sinus congestion. The dilute solution creates an oxygenated environment in sinus passages inhospitable to the bacterial and viral organisms that cause infections and reduces biofilm formation. Conventional medicine dismissed this practice without contrary evidence, largely because no pharmaceutical company was positioned to profit from a $1 bottle of peroxide. Hack number 14. Spray 3% hydrogen peroxide on toilet seats, toilet flush handles, and door handles as a daily sanitizer. Leave for 30 seconds, wipe dry. The peroxide kills 99% of surface bacteria and viruses, including influenza strains, within 30 seconds of contact, as confirmed by independent microbiology research. Commercial antibacterial wipes achieve equivalent results, but at 20 to 40 cents per wipe versus fractions of a cent per spray of hydrogen peroxide. Hack number 13. 3% hydrogen peroxide cleans and whitens grout more effectively than commercial grout cleaners when applied as a paste with baking soda. Mix 3 tablespoons of baking soda with enough 3% peroxide to form a thick paste. Apply to grout lines with a toothbrush. Leave 15 minutes. Scrub and rinse. The alkaline baking soda and oxidizing peroxide work together. The alkaline environment improves peroxide stability and extends the contact time before decomposition, allowing deeper penetration into the porous grout surface. Hack number 12. Add 3 tablespoons of 3% hydrogen peroxide to a full sink of cold water and use it to wash berries before refrigerating. Strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, and grapes. Treated with this rinse before refrigeration last 3 to 5 additional days without developing mold. The peroxide kills the surface mold spores that cause berry deterioration within the first 24 to 48 hours of storage. The commercial produce preservative sprays sold at natural food stores do not outperform this 3-cent solution. Hack number 11. 3% hydrogen peroxide used as a mouthwash, 1 tablespoon diluted in 1 tablespoon of water, swished for 60 seconds and spat out kills oral bacteria that cause bad breath more completely than commercial mouthwash. Most commercial mouthwashes rely on alcohol and antimicrobial compounds like cetylpyridinium chloride or chlorhexidine. Hydrogen peroxide at this concentration produces a comparable or superior reduction in oral bacterial load and reaches into the gum tissue and tooth surfaces that liquid rinse mouthwashes cannot access as effectively. The dental and oral care industry has consistently downplayed this use despite decades of confirming research. Hack number 10. Hydrogen peroxide at 3% is an effective ear infection treatment for the outer ear canal. Tilt the head, place 5 drops in the affected ear, allow to fizz for 30 seconds to 1 minute, drain. The peroxide oxygenates the ear canal and kills the bacterial and fungal organisms that cause outer ear infections, swimmer's ear, without the systemic effects of antibiotic eardrops. Independent otolaryngology research has documented the effectiveness of dilute hydrogen peroxide against the bacterial species responsible for most outer ear infections. This application was standard medical practice before pharmaceutical eardrops became profitable products. Hack number 9. Spray 3% hydrogen peroxide on mattress surfaces to kill dust mites and their egg casings. Apply lightly, allow to dry completely. Dust mites cannot survive in an oxygenated environment, and their egg casings are destroyed by the oxidizing action of the peroxide. Mattresses treated monthly with a light peroxide spray maintain significantly lower dust mite populations than untreated mattresses, as documented in independent allergen research. Commercial dust mite sprays rely on either chemical insecticides or quaternary ammonium compounds and typically cost $20 to $40 per bottle. Hack number 8. 3% hydrogen peroxide is a highly effective treatment for canker sores in the mouth. Apply directly with a cotton swab, hold for 30 seconds, rinse. The peroxide oxygenates the anaerobic bacterial environment that allows canker sores to persist and causes significant pain. Independent oral medicine research has confirmed that canker sore healing time is reduced by 2 to 3 days with daily hydrogen peroxide application compared to no treatment or commercial canker sore gels. The peroxide costs effectively nothing